Welcome ladies and gentlemen, Master of None here. Today I'm bringing you the 5th video in this series about my return to GW2. The title of this episode might be a bit narky, since collections are part of my favorite content in Guild Wars 2. I'll answer why I think they are worse quests throughout the video though. So where am I at with my Revenant? I just finished Season 4 and started working on a couple of Return to achievements. I want to space them out a bit since, although I do really like the open world, it gets kind of repetitive to me reasonably fast, so I limit myself to 1 or 2 metas a day. By the time this video comes out, I've probably also started on the Icebrute saga. At this point, I might sound a bit like a broken record, but Season 4 has been super enjoyable. I love the characters and the setting, and even Bram has turned into a likable and funny guy. I laughed out loud quite a few times during the story, and recognizing old places from Guild Wars 1 has left me with a warm, fuzzy feeling of nostalgia. Enough about the living world though, let's talk collections. During my playthrough I noticed that I was missing a Path of Fire mastery and discovered that ArenaNet had added a collection that had something to do with a skimmer. There will be some spoilers now if you haven't done the skimmer collection yet, so if you like to go through it blind you might want to skip ahead a chapter. However, I think it beautifully illustrates what I enjoy about some of these collections so much. So I went to the Skimmer Ranch in Aelon Riverlands and went through all the dialogue options. The NPC talked to me about a thief that stole some of her skimmers and asked me to help track her down. I got told to look for something suspicious in Amnoon Harbor, so that's what I did. I searched for quite a while, looking for boxes that are interactable or merchants where she could have bought supplies from. However, there wasn't really a single NPC that I could interact with, which seems strange. The only one I knew was the Corsair that took me to Easton recently. And bingo, he actually had information about the thief, where she was heading. The next step was a lot easier because it talked about a coast in the desert highlands, and I knew only of one place where there was a large body of water on that map. It's also my favorite location in the whole game, so that was easy. NPC was also conveniently placed close to the waypoint. Skipping ahead a few steps, I found myself looking for Quagons in Frostgorge Sound. I knew of a couple Quagon villages there since I did map completion about 3 weeks ago. Now the fun part begins. I start swimming around in this Quagon village, looking for someone that can tell me anything about the pesky skimmer thief. I found what looked like the chief Quagon, and he even had some dialogue for me. Nothing about the skimmer thief though. Pretty much at the same time an event triggered and the village got attacked by Icebrute. The hero that I am, I of course selflessly protected poor little Quagons. It had nothing to do with the fact that I thought a new secret dialogue option might be available afterwards. A few minutes later the threat was averted. The stubborn chieftain still didn't want to tell me anything though, so I kept looking. Oh, another interactable Quagon. Finally! What's next? Defend the village from Icebrute? God damn it. At least I was on the right track. At this point, I would like to remind you to hit that like button, so more people get to see how benevolent my Revenant is. I also want to show you how the caretaker removes the kelp after the event, so the little kids can go play again. I love little details like that, and it's what makes exploration so enjoyable in GW2. The rest of the journey went without further hiccups, and it ends with you having to do a skimmer adventure, introducing you nicely to the new skimmer functionality. What a great quest. In the end, that's really what it is, isn't it? It's the Guild Wars 2 version of traditional quests. I got to travel around the world and became immersed in the little stories along the way. Now why am I of the opinion that collections are worse? To me it comes down to the delivery. My issue with these amazing journeys is that they are hidden away in an overblown and confusing achievement panel. The Skimmer collection was at least a little easier to find because it was directly tied to a mastery. I wish there was a new tab under Story Journal called Journeys or Side Quests or something else. Just something that allows for a new UI to be put in place, containing the collections that have a story attached to them. This is really another problem. They are currently located between regular collections like the Trash Collector achievement or the Ghost Weapon Collector, I do believe that these are fundamentally different types of content though, and they deserve to be separated from the rest. It would also give ArenaNet more freedom to include more lore or a better way for the player to read back on what happened on that journey. The current design feels rather limiting and makes it quite hard for new players to discover them, or even get the idea to go do them. This is a definite disadvantage to quests in other MMOs, where you can clearly see a starting location by the big exclamation mark above people's heads. You also can't go around collecting quests in your quest log in GW2 to do them at a later date. They are already there for you, but you just have to find them. I think this is a shame because a couple collections like a skimmer one or a few of the Generation 2 legendaries are great in telling a story by playing through them. For the most part, they are far superior in my opinion to any World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 1 quests. If anything, they really remind me of RuneScape's version of quests. For all the flaws that childhood game of mine has, the questing is one of my favorites in the genre. RuneScape also does a fantastic job in showing you which ones you have done, which ones you haven't done, and which ones you can't do yet because you're missing some requirements, giving the player clear goals to pursue. So the bottom line is that by having some collections be quests and some just be regular collections, you're losing quite some accessibility. It's more convoluted and unintuitive than it should be. I think separating them further into their own section could really help to drive more players towards it. Let me know if you have a favorite collection in the game that I should absolutely check out. That is all for today, and hope to see you in the next one.